Air National Guard is a reserve component of the United States Air Force and serves alongside active-duty Air Force members in times of a national crisis. In addition, the Air Guard serves the state and local community in a wide range of capacities. The reason people join the Air Guard is as diverse as our members and includes such reasons as a deep desire to serve their country, money for college, travel, new job skills, and the pride that goes along with belonging to the greatest military organization in the world. I joined because I felt a calling to serve my country, but I didn't want to be far away from my family, so the Indiana Air National Guard was a perfect fit for me. With over 95 different career opportunities to choose from and 100% paid college tuition to any state-funded college, why not give us a call? Call 1-800-841-3103 or visit online at goang.com to find out more. Again, that's 1-800-841-3103. The Air National Guard, guarding America, defending freedom.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you can save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar.
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything.
All right, welcome back to The Balance. My name is Tom Marcos, El Presidente. 917-889-8516 is our digits. 90 minutes in the book, 30 minutes left on the clock. Joining us now is Mo from the BS Sports Show. Mo, how are you, sir? Mo, can you hear us? Check, check. I see him there. Maybe his mic is on mute. Okay, we lost him. So hopefully we'll get him back on here. But we're just batting 1,000 with our guests today, aren't we? I was going to say 917-889-8516. We're trying to effort to get him back on here. Thank you to Matthew Embry, WSBT, for being our only guest that has showed up today. This is, I'm sorry, Steve Wilson did. What was I thinking? Let's try this again. Mo from the BS Sports Show. How are you, sir? Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You must have went on mute or something. I tell you what, one of those days, one of those weeks. So before we get into college football talk, because it is our college football weekend, we're going to get into the top 25. Rick Riggin wasn't able to join us today, and Tony Donohue couldn't join us either. So it's just you and I talking some college football. But before we do that, might as well just talk about it to death, because it's been talked about it to death. This week, the decision to arrest Jacoby Brissett, setting off alarms everywhere. Oh my God! Lex out! Oh my God! I'm a season ticket holder. I've sold all my tickets. This is a telltale sign. It's happening. It's all over again. This is deja vu. People relax. But what are your thoughts? Luck. Week 1, Jacoby Brissett setting tonight against the Bears. Oh, here's news flash. All the main players are resting in this pretend football weekend. Go ahead, Mo.
Well, I mean, normally this is the week where you see the starters play at least the first half, but normally I would tell Colts fans to relax, but after the Colts decided a few years ago to lie to everybody about Andrew Luck's injury and the extent of it, I don't blame people for being pissed because the Colts put themselves in this position. Them, lying to folks and not telling the truth to people. I think that they've brought this all on themselves now.
Well, yeah, and I did mention this earlier on in the show. I did say that, if Luck does not start in week 1, this is a PR nightmare, but that doesn't mean that he's done, that he's over with it, but it does mean that they have a PR nightmare. So I absolutely agree that if he can at all start. But I also blame Luck a little bit for this too, because Luck's not talked to the media since July 30th. So he's let people lay out there and spin these stories. So, yeah, from that aspect of it, I absolutely do get it. Let's get into some college football talk. Obviously, tonight's the night, the big night. College football kicks off. The Miami Hurricanes go into the swamp against the Florida Gators. This should be a really good game, a game everybody's watching probably because it's the only game on, but go right ahead.
Well, I think a lot of people are excited, and they believe that Miami's back. They believe that the Hurricanes have added enough people, including Tate Martell, the former Ohio State backup quarterback, and five-star recruit out of Las Vegas in high school, and they believe that the Hurricanes are back. The Gators are a team that's there every year, but it'll be interesting to see what this Miami Hurricanes team is all about this year.
What are your thoughts about Notre Dame this year?
It's hard to assess the Irish this year for me a little bit because, I think it hurt their offensive line a couple of years ago when their offensive line coach took off for the Bears. I think that they've lost some key pieces of the defense last year to graduation into the NFL. So, Brian Kelly, I think, has to take another step forward this year. I don't think, an average season for Notre Dame will suffice this year. So it'll be interesting to see how this team responds, and I think it'll be interesting to see how hot that seat gets for Brian Kelly this year.
And it's going to get real hot, absolutely. Let's kind of go through the Big Ten here, and we'll just try to touch on as many teams as we can, and then we'll wrap it up with the top 25. But let's start with the teams right here in our own backyard, and let's go up to we'll start up in Purdue. Purdue, good squad. Had a good time watching them last year, even though I'm an IU guy. What are your thoughts about the Boilermakers?
Well, the Boilermakers pulled off that huge upset of Ohio State last year. They were a fun team to watch. Everybody was, I think, intrigued because of Tyler Trent as well and his connection to that Purdue football team. They still got some amazing weapons, but, David Blau, their captain and quarterback last year, is now gone. So Purdue moves on with a new signal caller. But, I think they still have some amazing weapons on both sides of the ball, but especially on offense at the wide receiver position. So I think Purdue's a team that can compete given that their quarterback is able to step in and replace the leadership and the accuracy of David Blau.
IU opens up the season at Lucas Oil against Ball State. Ball State's always fun to watch. Ball State almost beat Notre Dame last year at Notre Dame. Fun game to watch. Always fun to watch Ball State. But IU, I see that they're coming along. But then they kind of do what IU does, and that's just stick with status quo, and we're going to do what we do because we're a basketball school. But thoughts on IU opening up against Ball State, IU 2019-2020?
Well, here's the thing with IU. If you're a bettor, you love the Hoosiers because they seem to always cover, especially against the big-time schools when they're big underdogs. So, you love the Hoosiers in that aspect. But they're a team that competes with everybody but seems to not be able to finish off games, and I think that's where IU fans start to get frustrated because IU hangs for three quarters and all of a sudden things start to fall apart. So that's frustrating if you're a Hoosier fan. It seems to be a 6-6, 7-6 type season where they're going to make a ball game, but it's going to be a lot of points for this IU Hoosier football team.
Michigan State's Spartans.
Well, Michigan State's a team that's competitive every single year. It's a team also that always seems to be embroiled in some type of off-the-field controversy every year. I look for Michigan State to, at the end of the day, win big games when it needs to be. They always seem to be a spoiler to either Michigan or Ohio State every year. So I don't know that they're at the top of the Big Ten, but I think they're a team that definitely is a third or fourth place type team that's going to hurt the chances of some of those top teams getting into the college playoff.
Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. We never get tired of talking about him, do we?
Well, it's going to be interesting this year because if Jim Harbaugh does get that win against Ohio State, he couldn't beat Urban Meyer, and he beat Ryan Day. So, and if he loses, now he loses to Ohio State without Urban Meyer and loses to Ryan Day. So, this is one of those years too, just like we talked about with Ryan Kelly. I don't know that Jim Harbaugh will be fired, but I think pressure will be put upon him if he doesn't make it happen this year to move on.
You mentioned Ohio State, so we'll go there. The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Well, it's a team that I have to cover for my job, but they're a team that's in transition because Urban Meyer's out, but still at school, still on the school grounds. Ryan Day's there. We've got a new quarterback this year. You got a transfer from Georgia who was supposedly mistreated there, and he's going to take over the reins of this football team. So it'll be interesting to see where this team's at. Ryan Day is going to be expected to go in there and beat Michigan because that's what's been done for so long under the Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer is undefeated against Michigan. So, the seat could get a little warm there in Columbus if things don't turn around and if Justin Fields turns out not to be the guy at quarterback.
Joining us now is Tony Donohue of the Tony T podcast. Tony, I am so sorry. I was publicly chastising you for not calling in, and I gave you the wrong number. So shame me. Shame me. It's my fault. I should know what number to have my guest call. Tony, welcome to the Balance. How are you, sir?
Well, I'll say this. Since you were chastising me, I scrolled up to make sure that the number that you gave me was the same one you gave me last time, and the last time you did the same thing.
I'm losing it, man.
Happens.
Save it in your phone. Save it in your phone. Mo's joining us from the BS Sports Show. We're just kind of going around the horn, talking some college football. We were just talking a little bit about Ohio State and the Big Ten. Let's get your thoughts on the Big Ten this year as we go into the 2019-20 season, Tony.
Yeah, Ohio State, Michigan, obviously, is where you start. I think Michigan State's a good team this year as well. And I think a team that's going to make a lot of improvement this year is Nebraska. They start out ranked 24th. They're going to be favored in probably their first 3 or 4 games, if I'm not mistaken. I think Purdue can be right there at that 6 to 7 win margin. IU is going to be right on the bubble of making a bowl. You're going to get the same old Iowa, the same old the same old Wisconsin. It's going to probably be bowl eligible. I think the Big Ten is really, really good this year. And it seems to me, I don't know what you're going to think, but it seems to me that over the entire country, they're not really getting the respect that I think that they might be due.
Well, you're absolutely. And Tony, you're absolutely right. We talk about this every year. The only team that really gets any love in the Big Ten is Ohio State Buckeyes, and especially when it comes down to the bowl committee. Mo, what are your thoughts?
Well, like I said, Ohio State comes in with their new head coach in Ryan Day, but you still have the shadow of Urban Meyer looking around campus and at practices as he's moved on to his new position. You got Justin Fields, the Georgia transfer, who's there now, who's going to be the starter. And, you got a bunch of new guys at skill positions at wide receiver. So I think the question is this year that Ohio State lacked so much in the running game last year. Can they figure out how to get that going? Dwayne Haskins was so much of a pure